Everyone quotes one number from the settlement manipulation study, $8.2 million, taken from retail on a 5-minute Bitcoin contract. That number is one leg of a 2-leg trade, and the other leg has never been measured. The contract is simple. It pays $1 if Bitcoin is higher at the close of a 5-minute window than it was at the open, and nothing otherwise. Whoever holds it can move the settlement price by trading the underlying. That is the whole vulnerability, and it is structural rather than accidental. The researchers had an unusually clean experiment. The 15-minute contract began trading in October. The 5-minute contract was created on-chain in December, then sat dormant and untraded until its public launch in February. 3 regimes, 1 asset, 1 oracle. The footprint appears exactly when the 5-minute contract does. In the final 10 seconds before each close, spot order flow on Binance jumps to about half again its pre-launch level, and it concentrates where a push can change the answer. Then it reverts. Within 10 seconds, the price gives back about a quarter of the move in the near-even cycles and a tenth elsewhere. Real information persists. A push reverts. That distinction is the whole test. The pushes decide outcomes. In cycles priced near even, a push against the favored side flipped the winner 65% of the time, against 41% in ordinary trading, where the market had already given one side a 90 to 100% chance. A push reversed it a third of the time, against 1 in 100. The innocent explanation is hedging. A market maker sells the contract to retail, accumulates a short, and buys spot Bitcoin to offset it. The hedge moves the close. Nobody manipulated anything. It is a good story, and 3 facts kill it. The first, a binary only has real sensitivity to spot near the strike. Once one side is almost certain, there is nothing left to hedge. Yet those are precisely the cycles a push overturns 1 time in 3. A trade placed when there is nothing to hedge cannot be a hedge. The second is timing. A hedge accumulates with the position. This does not. Cumulative flow sits at essentially 0 deep into the cycle, and the final 10 seconds alone carry roughly $1.7 million, which is close to the entire net order flow of the cycle arriving in 1 step. The third is size, and it is the one to remember. A short binary can lose at most its notional. The makers had about $1,400 at risk per cycle. The hedging story asks you to believe that was covered with a $1.7 million spot trade. One line of the profit table closes it. The cohort earned $5,096 per manipulated cycle and $6 per normal one. A real edge earns everywhere. This one earns only where the pushing happens. So the harm is established. The paper then offers 2 ways to fix it. And this is where the story turns. Lever 1 is the contract horizon. Lever 2 is the settlement reference. Only one of them has evidence behind it. The horizon lever is measured. The manipulation signature is sharp at 5 minutes and much attenuated at 15, compared across contracts trading at the same time on the same asset through the same oracle. That is about as controlled as field evidence gets. The reference lever is theory. The paper borrows a result showing that averaging raises the cost of manipulation in proportion to the window. That result was derived for automated market maker pools, not for a feed aggregating centralized exchanges. The direction transfers. The coefficient is an assumption. On the 7th of August, Polymarket kept the 5-minute horizon and changed the reference. It adopted the lever that was modeled and left the lever that was measured exactly where it was. I do not think that was careless, and the reason is the interesting part. Those short contracts traded over $4 billion and roughly tripled the platform's daily volume. The measured lever and the growth engine are the same object. Retiring the 5-minute contract means retiring the product, and no venue does that on the strength of one preprint. Now the arithmetic, and it runs the wrong way. The 5-minute contract, which carries every dollar of documented harm, received a 30-second averaging window. The 15-minute contract, which the same paper found largely clean, received 60. Cost scales with the absolute window because the manipulator's problem is holding a displacement for some number of seconds against arriving flow, and seconds are not denominated in contract lengths. On the metric that sets the price of the attack, the contract that needed most protection got half. There is one more number worth holding. 8.2 million across 821 wallets over 56 days is about $10,000 each, or $179 a day. This is not whales. It is several hundred small operators running a mechanical trade. Which cuts against my own argument, so I will say it plainly. A threefold cost increase probably does destroy a $179 a day edge. What it does not touch is how often a cycle arrives at the close, near enough to even for a push to decide it. That share is set by the horizon. This experiment has been run before. In February 2015, the London 4 p.m. foreign exchange fix widened its window from 1 minute to 5 after regulators levied more than $1 billion of penalties on 5 banks. What happened next is the part to carry forward. The volume spike in the fixing window disappeared. The price anomalies did not, and the bank's new passive execution created a fresh predictability that had not been there before. So the flow spike is the first thing to die, and the least informative thing that could. It is also the easy metric, one line of code against public data, and it is what every post declaring this solved will cite. One more thing sits in Polymarket's own documentation. It tells integrators that the Oracle does not publish the feed's sampling boundaries, weighting, rounding, or missing input behavior, and that they should not try to reproduce the value without a specification. Near even cycles are decided by basis points, and those 4 parameters are what decides a basis point. The benchmark principles, written after the rate rigging cases, require a published methodology detailed enough for users to understand how the benchmark is derived, including input selection and the mix of inputs. Here is what would prove me wrong, and anyone can check it on free data. Take 5-minute cycles from the 7th of August. Keep the ones priced near, even just before the close. Measure the post-settlement reversal and the flip rate in the almost certain bucket. If the reversal goes to 0 within 60 days, the settlement reference alone was enough. The horizon lever was never needed, and this reading is wrong. If the spike collapses while the reversal survives among fewer wallets, the horizon was always the binding constraint. The whole documented transfer is about $147,000 a day. There is no institutional trade here. What there is, with the same contract design now filed on equity indices, is a live test of whether widening a settlement window fixes manipulation or simply relocates it.